Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 12 o'clock. It's time for a Q&A. Now this is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. A couple of things. First of all, if I've missed your question in this video, I'm very sorry. I do sometimes miss questions. If I've missed it, leave it again and I'll get back to it next week. I typically film these on about a Wednesday or a Tuesday or a Thursday. So if you want a guarantee to have your question asked, it's best to ask it as soon as possible, ideally before sort of Monday or Tuesday. That way there's a good chance that I'm going to get to it. And as I've said before, I always give you my raw and filtered opinion. I don't read these and prepare the answers ahead of time. And if any of these questions I think could provide the basis of a video in the future that's longer, then I will do so. But without further ado, there's a whole bunch of questions this week, so we're going to get into it with this week's Q&A. Okay, so the first question is from the Kitchen Magician, who says, have you ever been on local morning news channels? I'm trying to get in touch with some local producers at a few news stations here. Do you have any tips of promoting yourself for television and any tricks that work well for the morning news? I have a magic show that I'm trying to promote. Yeah, I mean, I used to do an awful lot of this back in the day, not so much. When I first started Slightly Unusual, I had a burning desire to be famous on TV, and I'd do whatever I could to get on TV, including keeping my ear out for opportunities, for appearing on little stations here and there, and kind of putting my name forward as much as possible. And a lot of the time, that's what you have to do. You have to hustle. In terms of promoting a specific show, you got to remember that unless it's newsworthy, a lot of news stations don't really care. So you want to make sure that that show's newsworthy. Over here in the UK, if I put a show on and I contacted local news and said, hey, I've got a show, can I come in and do some tricks? There's a very small chance that they might be interested, but in reality, they probably wouldn't. So you need to give them a hook. You need to give them something that they would find really interesting, something that they can spin a story out of, because you've got to think about it from their point of view. And what I mean by that is if they run a story saying local magician running show in local area, it's not exactly going to put bums on seats. It's not exactly going to get their viewers on the edge of their seats. But if you can say, hey, this is just an example, but hey, I'm recreating one of Houdini's last ever escapes. There's a very good chance that I'll die. I'm going to do this one time and one time only, and I'm going to do it live on this show coming up on this date at this time, and I'd like to talk about it with you and give you a sneak peek of what I'm planning on doing. That's the sort of hook that they might find interesting. It's why, you know, so many promoters back in the day used to do things like blindfold car drives and things like that, publicity stunts to get the attention of the press. You know, that's what you're trying to do at the end of the day. What you want to do, you want to look into press releases and you want to look into how to craft a press release, because ultimately contacting local press, it starts with sending a press release, because very likely if you just ring them up or send them an email, it's just going to fall on deaf ears. So you want to send them a press release. Now, you could contact a PR company, and a PR company would help you and you'd get more results from using a PR company than doing it yourself, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. In lockdown, when COVID was on, we were doing a lot of virtual parties, and I engaged the services of a PR company to help us put out a whole series of, because we had the idea of doing virtual shows for the NHS and for kids that were in palliative care in the community, and doing virtual entertainment for them. And we were looking for sponsors for that. And, you know, we contacted a PR company who helped us with a series of press releases. And we got on radio, we got on press, we never got on TV, but we got on 3 or 4 radio stations. We got on several different websites. We had several different interviews done, and I don't think I would have got that if I'd done it on my own. Now, it cost money, and that's where you have to think about this. How important is it to promote this from your point of view? If you contact a PR company, you're going to get better results, but it's going to cost you money. You could do it yourself, but you know, it's you probably haven't got the experience, so you're going to have to really research into this subject. If putting a show on is something you want to do on an ongoing basis, I'd suggest you look into PR, how to craft a press release, how to get the attention of people that you're sending the press release to, who to send it to. All of this stuff is really important. Contact a journalist. There are There are ex-journalists that do courses on this online. It might be something that you want to have a look at. But yeah, the biggest tip that I've got for you is to try and sensationalize it. Think of a hook, think of a reason why that journalist would be interested in running a piece on your magic show. Okay, so the next question is again from the Kitchen Magician, who says, I'm thinking about going out busking to promote my magic show. I have some posters I'll be handing out while busking. Do you have any tips for busking on the streets near a busy pub or bar area? What to do, what not to do? Where should I put my tip jar? And how do I go about asking for tips? Again, the problem is, and I've had this question before on the channel, I want to be open and tell you, I've never busked in my life. I've never done street theatre. Now, I've got lots of friends that do it, that are incredible at it, and I've spoken to them in depth, and I think I have a handle on exactly what you would need to do. And at one point, I was going to do street theatre. I was going to do street performing, but then an opportunity came. I ended up doing the holiday park circuit, and something had to go, and it was the street theatre. So I was preparing to do that, and I didn't. The biggest piece of advice I can give you about learning how to perform on the streets is, first of all, check out anything by Cosmo, who runs Real Magic magazine. Cosmo has a great DVD called Tales from the Streets, where he breaks everything down. He's one of the best street performers I know. If you're in the UK and you're in the Magic Circle, go speak to Nathan Earl. He's a great street performer. And go and check out, oh my God, who is it? Sorry. It's, my mind's gone blank. It's been a very long week. I'm very sorry. Go check out, I think it's, I can't remember. There you go. Let's have a look. See if that comes up. Yeah, there you go. I don't know how I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. Go check out Stephen Bridges. So Stephen Bridges is now doing videos on cheating at cards and card counting and cheating at blackjack and that sort of thing. It's a fascinating series and definitely worth checking out. But before that, his channel was all geared up for magicians, and he started doing street shows, and he documented his entire journey on his YouTube channel. So if you go look at the older videos, you see everything that happened to him when he learned how to do street magic. You've got videos of him actually performing on the streets. All of the questions that you've got here, he answered on his channel. So it's well worth checking out Stephen Bridges' stuff. Absolutely. It's one of my favorite channels on the internet anyway. But in terms of the questions you've got here, do I have any tips for busking on the streets near a busy bar area? From what I understand, the big thing is to build a crowd. Cosmo always told me to start with something small. He used to do the coin in eye. He did a coin flurry, and one or two people would come and join him, and it ends with the coin going in the eye and under the watch and so on and so forth. And as he's doing it, more people will come, and he'll actively drag them over, and he'll call them over, and he'll say, yeah, come and have a look at this. So he's doing this kind of really intimate close-up thing that people need to come close up to go and see. And then when he's got a few people, he starts to do the show, and he's like, hey, and then he starts projecting. And the key thing is to keep them there as long as possible, because obviously you want them to tip you, right? And the way that you do that is by keeping them there and getting them to put the money in the hat. You know, I might get somebody on here at some point and give some advice on street performing. But yeah, the sources that I mentioned, I would check those out first. Okay, so I've got a question from Sean Andertrack. And Sean says, this is about the AGT experience. First, congratulations to Ryland for his performances. He did an outstanding job. Thank you. Two questions here. Firstly, as a contestant on these types of shows, do you actually get to hang out with all the other acts backstage? This is kind of implied when they come back from commercial breaks. Second, there was a wonderful magician named Mandy Munden. I thought she was delightful. Are you aware of her work? And maybe you could do an interview with her. So, two questions. One, yes, everybody is hanging out backstage in AGT. During the auditions, they've got this big holding room. And we were in there for like 3 days, me and Ryland. And we got a chance to hang out with all of the contestants back there that were on at the time. And in actual fact, one of the evenings, we all went out for dinner. and we all went out and grabbed food together and had a nice meal out. So yeah, absolutely, all of the contestants are hanging out together backstage, and during the during the semi-finals, you're in the hotel together, but I mean, everybody's busy rehearsing for the act, but there's a lot of times when you're in a holding room, and but different people are getting taken away at different times. So, you know, Ryland will be taken away for reality, and then somebody else will be taken away for wardrobe. But on the actual day of the auditions, everybody is in a room together, absolutely 100%. So yeah, it's legit. They are all hanging around backstage, yes, or at least that from my experience, that's exactly what happened. As for Mandy, I'm a huge fan of Mandy Munden. Ryland is a huge fan of Mandy Munden. I thought she killed it on AGT. I thought she kills it with everything that she does. She's great. I've been trying to get an interview with her for ages. She's a very busy lady. She's a very successful performer. We're just trying to find the right time. There will be an interview coming soon. But if you liked her on AGT, go check out her performances on the BGT. There was a BGT Magic special as well last year. And you want to check that out because that was really good as well. Anything that she does is just great. So go check out anything that she does. She's fantastic, and she's very she's just hilarious. So yeah, Mandy's amazing. Okay, so the next question again is from Sean Andertrack, who says, I'm happy to see more women in magic, or more women magicians coming into what is a male-dominated art form. Do you think that there's a market for props that would be more natural for a woman to carry? Most wallets, men's style wallets. Most wallets are men's style wallets. How about a card to woman's clutch or purse? I think that might be interesting, but I wonder if there's a big enough market out there to produce and sell such a thing. And therein lies the problem. Although there's more women in magic than ever before, it's still a very small percentage of the industry. There's very few female magicians in magic, and there's more coming in, but it's still very few, and there's even less hobbyists, I find. And the problem is when you create a trick and you market a trick, there's a lot of costs associated with it, and you have to generally sell quite a few units to even make it profitable. And I just don't think there's probably enough women in magic yet to make a product like that profitable. Now, the way it could be done is if there's a small producer, like Thomas Maloney. He runs a company called Genuine Magic, where he makes leather products for magicians. He's got some really great stuff. I am going to interview him at some point. And he's got some really nice wallets and some variations on Out to Lunch and the SUC Peak that are really nice. But he's a very small business. It's almost like bespoke. The stuff he does is made to order. If I was Thomas, I would look at this as a really interesting niche to explore, because he doesn't need to produce in the quantity that most magic producers do. Most magic producers need to sell a few hundred units just to even break even. He wouldn't need to do that. So if he produced something that would be designed specifically for women, and it was good and people liked it, I could see somebody like him or a company like his being more successful with it than a Murphy's Magic or a Vanishing Ink or a Penguin Magic or something like that. So yeah, it is great to see. Unfortunately, unless things change, like I don't know the exact stats on this channel, for example, but I mean, this is a channel watched by a lot of magicians, and I think it's 5% female and 95% male. And it's like that with a lot of the channels out there. There's just less women. So because there's less women, there's less people that are going to be buying a trick that's designed specifically for women. Okay, so the next question is Bins Brian, who says, can you perform the effects in Apparition if I purchase a Mirage coin set, or are they completely different tricks? They are completely different tricks, my friend. They are completely different. What you can do with Apparition, you can't do with the Mirage coin set. What you can do with the Mirage coin set, you can't do with Apparition. I'm releasing another coin set at the end of the year through Alakazam, part of their Elite range, called Nightshade. And again, that is going to be completely different in terms of the effects you can do with Nightshade than you can do with Mirage and you can do with Apparition. Now, there's going to be about 40 tricks with Nightshade. There's about 20 with Mirage. There's about, 15 odd with Apparition. So there's a whole bunch of routines there, but I've been speaking to Pete at Alakazam, and one thing that we're planning on doing is early next year, we're going to have a free academy for anybody that's bought any of the 3 coin sets, and I'm going to present a bunch of routines that you can use by combining the different coin sets together. So if I take Apparition and Mirage and put them together, what can I do? If I take Nightshade and Apparition, or Nightshade and Mirage, or Apparition and Nightshade and put them together, what can I do? And we're going to put that together at some point next year. That's something that we're talking about at the moment. But yeah, I mean, in answer to your question, they're 2 completely different sets, and they do different tricks. So the next question is from Adrian Suter, who says, I'd love to see a 5x5 with 5 performances of the same trick by 5 different magicians, all who have their unique performance styles. What do you think about this? I think it's a really good idea. I just think it would be very difficult to do. It's very hard to get content from magicians for anything. I've had so many wonderful ideas on this channel for getting magicians to perform something and send it in and so on and so forth, and it just never works out because nobody ever sends the content in, so it's very difficult to it's just difficult. It's very difficult to put that sort of thing together. Even when I'm with somebody and I go, hey, can I film you doing this? They're like, no, because I'm not ready for it or whatever. So it's very, very difficult. I try my best, and I'd love to do it. I think it's a really good idea. But the logistics of it make it very, very difficult. But if I can ever figure out a way of doing it, I would. I think it's brilliant. The next question is from Wexman, who says, hi, Craig. I've noticed that you're in the States a lot more recently, and I know you want to lecture in the US. How can I get my local club to reach out to you to set up a lecture? I'm trying to work out how to do a US lecture tour at the moment. I mean, the problem is I don't have the contact details of all of the clubs over there. And I imagine that there's somebody who can organise one of these things for me, and that's pretty much what I think I need to do. Just have somebody organise it all and say, right, these are the dates, these are where you're going, go nuts, and then I can go and do it. Because I don't know the clubs over there. I really don't know anything. So, you know, I mean, you can get them to email craig@magictv.org, but just one person asking me to do a lecture obviously isn't financially viable to fly over to do one lecture to then come back. So I need to figure out how to do a lecture tour over there. And if I can figure that out, I'm going to be there in a heartbeat. Okay, so the next question is from RDGTEX. How you doing? Who says, hi, Craig, I wanted to express my genuine appreciation for Magic TV, which happens to be my absolute favourite magic channel on YouTube. Your contributions are invaluable, and I'd like to extend my gratitude to all you do. Thank you very much. Recently, I came across a double DVD set, The Complete Course in Magic with Cups and Balls by Eddie Ray. And I must say, it's absolutely incredible, informative resource. This material holds significance for magicians interested in crafting their own unique routines. In these DVDs, Eddie Ray meticulously dissects various moves, including vanishes, steals, loads, and provides valuable insight into personalization and the art of sequencing a routine. I don't think I've seen that. I know of the course, but I don't think I've seen it unless old age is causing me to forget, but I don't think I've seen it, but I'm definitely going to check it out. Thanks for that. Now I have a question I'm hoping you can help me with. Can you offer some guidance on how to find a suitable table-style card index? I've been on the quest to locate one, but it seems that most of my searches led me to references about pocket indexes. While I'm currently attempting to create one myself, my endeavours thus far have fallen short. I believe your knowledge could greatly assist me in the pursuit. Once again, thanks for your outstanding work on Magic TV. I would have said I don't know, but there's a new trick by Henry Harris. And the trick involves a balloon oracle, that's it. Balloon oracle. And the trick involves basically having a balloon, you give it to the spectator, they can hear there's a prediction in there, you have someone name a card, you take a magic wand, you pop the balloon with the magic wand, and when they do, a card falls out, and they open it up, and it's their card. It's very good. Really good. Really, really good. And why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because it comes with an index. So as part of the whole thing, you also get an index that holds 52 cards, so that you can very quickly do what you need to do with the routine in order to, you know, the whole idea is you meant to just go into the case and take a wand out, and that's where you access the index, and it fits inside a case and is perfect for stage work. So I don't know if that's the sort of thing that you're looking for. So there's that. I've also seen I've seen indexes in the past where they're kind of built into a savant, and there's like a savant and there's like sections along the savant. There's 13 sections that hold 4 cards. And so the whole idea is if you're sitting at the table, you just bring your hand back and you can just access any one of the cards. And that's quite nice as well. I'm pretty sure Prop Dog sold one of those at one point or another. But I don't know the source. I've seen them. I'm pretty sure it's Prop Dog, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'd look into. It's not a pocket index, not a table index either, but it could be a table index. Mark Lavelle, many, many years ago, brought out an index through Murphy's Magic. I can't remember the name of it. But it was something that ran around a belt. And it was an index that you built into your belt so you could access anything. It was very clever. But on the tutorial, they also talk about how you can actually take this index and run it around a table, so you could actually have it on a table as well. So, I mean, if you search Mark Lavelle, I'll do it for you quickly. I don't know. Mark Lavelle Index, Murphy's Magic. Does anything come up? Skynet Project. There you go. The Skynet Project by Mark Lavelle. That's what you're looking for. You can actually take that and you can run that around a table, and that will work perfectly well as a table index as well. So try one of those. Hopefully one of those will work for you. Hope that helps. Okay, so the next question is from Christopher Cram, who says, "Hi Craig, I'm a big fan of yours. I love the Q&A and I have a few questions. Thank you very much. Let's go for it. On your take with the last question, with variety of routines, even though you mentioned it's subjective, and with trying to keep the show fresh, how often would you recommend changing your routines out? Secondly, how long of a show should you actually script for? I have heard magicians being booked for 1-hour shows and for 30-minute shows. The last part of the question is, should the shows still stick with the 3 sets of 3 that I've always been taught? Thanks for being here for us magicians." The 3 sets of 3 is really more for close-up magic. So you kind of go to a group, you do 3 tricks, you go to another group, you do a different 3 tricks, you go to another group, you do a different 3 tricks. In terms of a stage show, you kind of make it bespoke. It's not that you've got sets that you take in and out, you make it bespoke. I've always, when I've put a show together, I've always put together a 1-hour show, because 99 times out of 100, when you're booked, you're going to be booked to either do a half-an-hour show, a 20-minute show, a 45-minute show, or in certain situations, a 1-hour show. So by having a variety of material, and by having a 1-hour show, it means that if somebody wants half an hour, you can look at the show and you can say, okay, well, I'll take this out and this out and this out, and you can structure a half-an-hour show within the hour. If you want a 45-minute show, you can take 15 minutes out. And it also means that, by having an hour's worth of material, let's say you're booked for half an hour, and this has happened to me an awful lot. Let's say you get to the venue and you've sent your rider before you've got to the venue, you've told them what you need and everything's fine, and you get there and you haven't got what you need. Like maybe you haven't got the staging, or there's a problem that will mean that a particular trick won't work, whatever the case may be, and you can't do a certain aspect of the show, you're able to change it out. So for example, I did an illusion show just a couple of weeks ago with Matt and Kat, and we're loading all the van up for a 35-minute show, lots of illusions and some front of cloth piece as well. And I said to Matt, put in Blake Voigt's stool illusion and put in the master prediction system. And he said, why? There's no point. We don't need them. We've got the show. And I'm like, yeah, no, but just put them in there, because that way we've got backup just in case. And we got there, and even though we'd sent a technical rider in, the stage wasn't big enough for all the illusions that we planned. We had to leave stuff in the van. So luckily, the stool illusion and the master prediction system added an extra 15 minutes and still looked like a big prop on stage. So having more material rather than less can really help you out in a sticky situation. In terms of changing the routines out or changing the tricks out, it depends on where you're performing. If you're performing I like to change things up all the time to keep things fresh, and I know Ryland does as well. But that's just because I have a desire to be working on new material all the time. It's something I enjoy doing. If you're performing in a different venue every single night, or let's say you just take private bookings and you're not going to really see a repeat audience, you could do the same show ad infinitum. It's not really too much of a problem. When I was doing the holiday park circuit for a few years, we changed the show at the end of every season, because we're going back to the same holiday parks, and a lot of the people that go and watch the shows are owners that come and watch every single show. So we knew we needed a different show for the following season. So we changed everything around on a season by season basis. And really only you know where you're performing. But if you're performing to the same audience regularly, you're going to need to update your show more often than if you're going and performing for different groups of people every single time. I think that answers everything. I mean, this is probably something that would be a good topic for a longer video, to be perfectly honest. But if you need any clarification on anything that I've said, just let me know and I'll get back to it next week. Okay, so the next question is from the Drunk Magic Ukulele player, who says, hi Craig, sorry I haven't messaged for a while. Unfortunately, I had a serious accident, cut off all my limbs, but I'm starting to pull myself together now. Love this guy. I was watching some Mothers Do Have Them the other day when I suddenly thought that you never hear anyone mention the Mr. Men anymore, which got me thinking and would like to know your thoughts. I believe through natural evolution that Mr. Men have evolved into Pokemon. They have vibrant colours, and I'm sure that Squirtle is more similar to Mr. Forgetful. If this is the case, Pokemon would be more suitable. Also, if I could crossbreed two Mr. Men, i.e. Mr. Noisy and Mr. Quiet, and become Mr. Average Volume, or Mr. Bump and Mr. Bounce, and become Mr. Bunce, who would you choose? Thanks. Honestly, he asks the most bizarre questions on this channel of all time. And honestly, that whole evolution into Pokemon actually makes sense. Maybe I'm just tired, I don't know. If I could crossbreed two Mr. Men, I have no idea. I'm not really I don't really know many Mr. Men. I think I would create a trained assassin, and I would crossbreed Mr. Tickle with Mr. Strong, which would give somebody the longest arms in the world, but also the strength to snap their neck in a split second. There you go. The perfect assassin. Two Mr. Men coming together to create one perfect assassin. There you go. Okay, so the next question is Pax Ghost, who says, I'm considering starting a magic group at a folk high school in Norway, and I was wondering about the regulations regarding what I can teach. For example, is it legal for me to teach tricks I've purchased? Best. I wouldn't go down that route if I were you. I'd perform the tricks and then, you know, show them where you can get them from. But the thing is, it depends on who the people are going to be in this group. And if they're new people into magic, I would start putting together like a structured lesson plan kind of thing where, you know, you look, there's so much public domain stuff now. There's so many sleights that you can teach and techniques that you can teach and simple tricks that you can teach and classics of magic that you can teach, that you don't need to teach all of the new tricks that you've purchased. You can focus on stuff that they probably haven't seen. Like I could literally put together a video every single day for the next 5 years of routines that probably people haven't seen before, that from years gone by. You know, there's so much material out there that you can use. That's probably where I'd start if I were you. Okay, so the next question is from Donald Smith, who says, have you seen the latest Unbiased Magic Reviews video about you, and what are your thoughts? Are you going to make another video back to him? No, I'm not. Yeah, I've seen the video. You know, it is what it is. I wish I'd never got involved in this whole deck stuff, to be perfectly honest, but I did, you know, and it makes it more and more difficult to review items, you know. The annoying thing is the last couple of videos that I've put up, you know, I did a video about decks, and I talked about why I felt from my point of view, from a creator and a reviewer's point of view, that, you know, like people were taking exception to what David said. And then I did another video, the intervention video, which was really designed, you know, watch that video. It started with me saying, look, if I've done anything to harm you, I'm sorry. I want to, you know, I want to interview you on the channel. You know, we've bickered back and forth for years, and we have. And, you know, he posted loads of, you know, he really goes in detail with this stuff. I can see it gets to him because he puts posts on there, he puts screen captures and video clips. He really goes to town with this. And yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't, you know, I didn't appreciate his review of my Penguin Live, because as I said in that video, I replied and said, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I replied very professionally. And the whole start of this feud was when he wouldn't let it go. And he wouldn't stop. And then since then, we've gone back and forth with each other. He's done videos about me. I've done videos about him. He's said stuff about me. If I wanted to, if I really could be bothered, I could put a 1 hour video together with lots of little video clips of the stuff that he said about me in the past over the last couple of years, calling me every name under the sun, which is what he did in his video. And if I could be bothered, I would do that. I just can't be bothered, because I genuinely wanted it to end. Yeah, you know, and the interesting thing, or not interesting, the thing is, he made the point of Craig's not being sincere. He doesn't really want to, you know, like start again or hold out an olive branch because he said this and he said this and he said this. The thing is, the timeline was skewed. Yes, I did say all of that. And yes, I am very annoyed with stuff that he's said about me in the past. And when Lloyd's video went up, I was really glad that Lloyd did the video, because I know how much his review affected Lloyd. And I know how much the video that he did about Enigma affected Christian. I know, I'm aware of how much it affects them, and I know how much it affected me. Yeah. I've commented on the internet about various different things. It's a discussion forum. You know, I'm not the only person that's made comments about David. But the thing is, those comments, before I made that video where I said, hey, I'm holding out an olive branch, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to call, I don't want to carry on this feud anymore. I really want to stop. And that's why I made the video. And then, you know, he doesn't believe me, which is fine, which is a shame, because if I challenge anyone to find, since I made that video, I challenge anyone to find a post or a video or anything that I've said that's negative about David anywhere, or even for a few days before that video, because I made my mind up. I spoke to my wife and she was like, this bickering is pathetic. And I was like, yeah, I agree. It's draining. And I said, you know, let's call it a day. I'm done with this. I want to be more positive on the channel. And I haven't said anything negative. And the stuff that he was bringing up was from before. I challenge anyone to find anything negative that I've said. You know, in the old days, somebody put a video up like that about me, I would have put a video up about them. But I'm not doing a video about David. What I said in that video is true. He's a knowledgeable guy. I can tell he's passionate about magic. I can tell he believes everything that he says. And that's great. And honestly, I think if we sat down with each other, we'd probably find a lot more common ground. But, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say anything negative about him. I promised him on the last video I would. And if he wants to, once again, call my character into question, he can do so. The biggest overarching problem with this whole thing is it just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just tired, but I've just... I spoke to Sarah yesterday, and I'm really in a good place in many ways, but I want to stay in that good place. I really do. And it's not nice waking up and seeing comments about yourself, you know? Like, you look at that video, that latest video he's done, and you look at the comments, and it's people's opinions. Let them have their opinion. But, you know, Craig's a bully. Craig's, a bad performer. Craig's the worst thing to happen to magic ever. Craig doesn't care about anything other than money. Craig is the head of the UK magic mafia. Craig forces his son to perform. Craig's a bad father. Just, you see comments all of the time, and the problem is, oh dear me, the problem is I can't, and I wasn't even going to talk about this. The problem is I can't win. Because if I turn around and I say, oh, those comments are very mean, I'm not a bully. I don't force Ryland to perform. I don't think I'm a bad performer. If I defend myself, or if I play, people will accuse me of playing the victim. I've had that so many times. Oh, Craig's playing the victim. But if I go on the attack, if I turn around and I give clear evidence as to why that's not the truth, like I did a video a little while ago. I was sick of people saying Craig's in it for the money, and I literally posted screenshots of the tens and tens of thousands of pounds that I've wasted buying magic tricks for this review channel. I'm massively, like, if you looked at Magic TV as a business, it's the most ridiculous business in the world. It loses money hand over fist because the amount of time and effort I put into filming videos. I've put evidence like that on there to say, no, I'm not about the money. I've put evidence on there to show, hey, I'm not a bully. Speak to these people. You know, like, look at somebody like James Keatley. I don't know him for Adam. And he showed me his Bitcoin. I said, it's really good. He showed it me at the session. And he said, oh, will you help me? And I said, yes, I'll put together a trailer for you. And I filmed the whole thing, paid for it myself, filmed it, edited it, did everything, and just gave it to him. Same with John Morton when he had his Lego deck come out. Like, I've helped so many people. And the problem is, if I say stuff like that, people are like, oh, Craig's bragging. But if I try and defend myself, it's Craig's playing the victim, and it just gets to a point where it's just like, do I need this? And this isn't me being all overly dramatic, and it's not like that at all. But the problem is, it's like I say, I'm in a good place right now. Ryland's doing really well, and it just makes me think, why do I bother? Why? Because people think that I do all this for the money, which is just so not true. Like, look at Monsters, my latest trick through Alakazam. Pete was away, and we knew it would be best if it came out as a Halloween release, so I organised videographers. That's why the trailer looks not like like an Alakazam trailer, and it's not shot in the Alakazam studio, because I went and I found a location to film in. I organised and paid for that location. I took 4 or 5 days out of my schedule that I could have been working on my business to film that and edit it. And we went up to Manchester to get live performances for the whole day, just going around, because I knew people would want to see live performances, and they knew they wanted to have live performances on the project, because I believe that this is a trick that magicians would like. And then you hear people saying, well, you know what, Craig's in it for the money. That's all he is. He's in it for the money. And it's like, I've actually probably made a loss on that trick. I didn't do it for the money by any stretch of the imagination. And the amount of time I spend doing interviews, you know, I'll literally stay up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning doing interviews. And you know what? I get so many people emailing me and messaging me and WhatsApping me, and I can't get back to everybody. I saw a comment on his video that he did of me saying Craig's terrible because he reached out to me and I reached out to him. He gave me your phone number and I reached out to. I get phone calls and messages and texts all of the time. I'm constantly working. I'm so tired all of the time. How does Craig get everything done? How does Craig get everything done? How is Craig managing to fit everything in? I don't know myself. And it gets to a point where it's just like, I've got people attacking me because I've not got back to them. I think the guy in question contacted me, rang me up at like 1 o'clock in the morning because I was in LA. And frankly, I had more important things to do because I was dealing with AGT for Ireland. And when I came back 2 weeks later, I completely forgot about his WhatsApp. Completely forgot about it because it was 2 weeks before that he WhatsApped me. Whatever. I can't do right for doing wrong. And it makes me wonder why the hell I'm doing this, to be perfectly honest, because I don't need to do this. And I must be some sort of... I must want to actually... I don't know. It makes me... and I do it because... And I've spoken about this before. I do it because there's lots of people that contact me all the time saying, "Oh, your videos really help, and your videos have inspired me, and I'm entering competitions. I'm using the tricks that you've released," and that's wonderful. That's why I do it. It really is. But it's easy to I've had people say to me, just ignore the comments, and I do for the most part. And as I say, I'm in a good place, but I want to stay in that good place. And it's very difficult when you wake up in the morning and you put your phone on and you open up your emails and you've had about 6 or 7 emails from people saying that you're horrible and they hate you, and then you've had a voice message on your WhatsApp from some random guy that you don't know calling you a loser. And then you go on YouTube and there's normally comments all over the place, and Facebook groups, and and then you see the videos, and then there's other videos based on that. I saw a short somebody had done today, taking something out of one of my videos and taking the piss. And hell, somebody complained about me to the Magic Circle on the way back from Alakazam yesterday. I had a phone call saying that from somebody at the Magic Circle saying that I'd had a complaint about Ryland. And they were complaining about me because of a video Ryland put up, because apparently this member wasn't happy with a video that Ryland put up and thought it was exposure, which it wasn't. We check all of Ryland's videos. He puts a lot of videos up. Some are better than others, but we check every single video. And I had a phone conversation about this guy complaining about me because of Ryland, to the point that the Magic Circle had to call me about this. This was an official complaint. And I had to actually I had to send proof that the person who created the trick was actually more than happy with Ryland's performance. And I had proof, because a lot of the time when Ryland puts videos up, he runs it past the creator. But it's just, who complains? Who contacts the Magic Circle to complain to me that my son, my 10-year-old son, has put a video up which isn't very good? I don't know who the guy is, and frankly, I don't care. But yeah, you asked the question. Yeah, I've seen the video. I love doing what I do. I love creating magic. I love filming these videos. But I'll be honest, I was sitting in that office today. I'm filming this on a Friday because I went to Alakazam on the Monday. I was filming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, got up a Thursday, did a bit of filming, went to Birmingham. I was filming all last night in Birmingham, filming live performances with Nemid Phoenix until about midnight. Got in very late. Got into the office first thing this morning, and Michael says to me, "You got to film a Q&A." And, for the first time ever, I was like, I don't really want to. I just don't want to. I just don't want to, because all that's going to happen is I'm going to say something in this Q&A, and someone's going to take it and use it to prove that I'm a cancer of magic, and to prove that I'm a bully, or not a nice person, whatever it is. I don't know. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, so the next question is from Agent Suter, who says, "Hi, Craig. Here's a question. All 3 magicians who were considered the very best in their field passed away during the last year. Max Maven with mentalism, Harry Lorraine with memory demonstrations, and Darwin Ortiz with gambling-related tricks. Who do you think will be their worthy successors in these fields?" No idea. I think Darwin Ortiz has already kind of got a natural progressor who performs in a very similar style and is just as good when it comes to that type of magic, which is Jason Ladani, or Ladane, I always get his name wrong. In terms of mentalism, I think that one of the best mentalists in the world today is Pete Turner. I think he's just absolutely incredible. I really do. So I think Pete's right up there. But there's some other amazing mentalists as well. I mean, mentalism, I think, is in a good place. And in terms of memory demonstrations, I really don't know much about memory demonstrations, so I can't help you with that one. But there's always going to be somebody new. There's always, unfortunately, as we go through life, people die. And it's terrible, because Darwin is amazing, Max is amazing, Harry is amazing, but people die, and new people will rise up. The people we consider the best, well, once never here, right? So new people will come up all the time, and that's the great thing about magic. Okay, so the next question is from Mike Tyson by TKO, who says, "Hey buddy, hope you're doing well. Question, I'm the proud owner of a few Deep Astonishment versions. I recently picked up Deep X. I was excited to see you attached to the tutorial, but then actually disappointed with the live performance by Paul. It was very cut up with editing, and it wasn't a true uncut performance that I was hoping to see. Any chance you can show us a more structured routine? I'm sure it's incredible. We need more Craig. Maybe time for a clone." Without getting too much into the whys and wherefores, I did film some live performances for Deep X, and I don't think they've made the cut for whatever reason. However, I believe that I still have the footage. And so what I might do is I might put a couple of live performances up of me performing Deep X in Smoke and Mirrors. I went to film it in Smoke and Mirrors. So give me about a week or two, and I'll put some live performances of me in front of a live audience performing Deep X for you. No problem. Okay, so the next question is NIC Magic, who says, question for the Q&A, where can I buy fine stage tricks or illusions like stools or your mangler? Will there be more stage routines on the Netrix soon? Thanks in advance. Keep up your really inspiring work. Yes, I'm adding more stage routines to the Netrix all of the time. So there will be more stage routines coming in the next couple of weeks. In terms of where to find illusions, when I first started with illusions, I bought some secondhand. Keep an eye on all the secondhand illusion builders websites, because there are a lot out there. And then find illusion builders that you trust. So I get most of my stuff from Guy Barrett. Guy Barrett Illusion Design here in the UK is the guy that builds most of my illusions. He also built the Lego table that you saw Ryland do in America's Got Talent. He built the big illusion that you saw Ryland vanish in on the semi-final of Britain's Got Talent. He's incredible. He really is. He built the Mangler. Most of my illusions he's built. In terms of other illusions, Mike Michaels over in the US is a really great option. If you're over in America, Mike Michaels is a good person to go to. Outside of that, who's the Thomas More Creative? Have some really nice illusions as well that you might want to look into. Thomas More Creative. I've just bought one of their wrapped ups, which is like an assistant's revenge, but with cling film, which is really super cool. And Blake Voigt has some really nice illusions as well that are quite high priced, but really good. So yeah, I mean, the key thing is to look out for that. Adrian Solar has some great illusions like T-Cuts and a few great costume changes, and the vanishing head, the removing head, all of those are really good. I did that in my show for years, and his stuff is quite inexpensive as well. So yeah, look for all of that stuff. And in terms of other stage routines, keep checking out the Netrix. Okay, so the next question is from Daniel Tajic, who says, "Hi Craig, I never left a comment before, but I'd like to get some good advice. I love your channel and I watch most of the videos and really enjoy them. Here's my question. I'm a semi-pro, so I perform on a regular basis to earn money with it, but I have a real job too. I'm a teacher for maths and science, not English, as you might recognize. I feel it's so hard to stick to a fixed set of tricks. I always have the feeling that I need to learn something new. FOMO's an issue too, so that my want to learn list is 29 sheets of paper long, and the list of tricks I've learned in the last 12 months has like 5 items on them. When I learn new stuff, I perform them 5 or 10 times, then I forget them again. I'm not happy with this state. Bruce Lee said, I fear the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. I feel like I'm somewhere in between. What would you say is the best way to stick to the tricks you've mastered and learn a lot of new stuff? Sorry, it's hard for me to express myself. My English lessons in school are like 25 years ago. Well, first of all, your English is better than most people that I know, so that's not a problem at all, Daniel. In terms of the problem that you've outlined there, that's an issue that a lot of magicians have, and they have it quite regularly. It's a common problem. What you want to do is you want to look for every opportunity to perform, okay? Look for every single opportunity you can to perform. Because when you actually perform something, when you actually get yourself into the mindset that you're going to take this new trick out and perform it for real people, you kind of force yourself to make sure that it is thoroughly well rehearsed. A lot of the time, people will buy a trick from a dealer or from a magic shop. They'll practice it, they'll perform it to themselves, maybe to their family, and then they'll put it to one side and forget about it because they haven't really pushed themselves into a position where they've actually committed it to memory. So what I'd suggest you do is you've got dozens of tricks that you can try and learn, pick 3 of them and put a set together using 3 tricks that go from one to another. Like, okay, I'm going to start with this, then I'm going to go into this, then I'm going to go into this. And this is the key point. Pick 3 tricks that you are excited about practicing, 3 tricks that you're excited about learning. So, for example, there's a book that I'm reading at the moment, and I've been putting off reading this book for several weeks because it just doesn't excite me. The performer doesn't excite me. The material doesn't excite me. But I know I need to read it in order to review it. And every single time I read it, I start falling asleep. And I think it's a psychological thing because I'm expecting the material not to be very good. Now, I'm still going to read it. I'm going to force myself to, and I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised. But the problem is, the point I'm putting across here is I'm feeling that way because I just don't think it's going to be very good. Now, there's going to be certain tricks that are going to really, really excite you and other tricks that aren't going to excite you. So there's certain things that I know when it comes out, I'm going to be excited about learning. And then there's other things that I know I'm not going to be excited about learning. So pick 3 tricks that excite you. It might be exciting because it's the person who's created it, or it might be exciting because you've watched the trailer and that's an effect that you would like to do yourself, or it might be using a prop that you especially like. So for me, coin magic, a lot of the time when I see a coin trick come out, instantly it's going to have my attention, right? Because I love coin magic more than any other type of magic. When you've got that, when you're in that position, at that point then start learning the magic and put that little 3 set together, that 3 trick set together, and then force yourself to perform it. Go, like I just said earlier on, I was out in Birmingham last night till midnight, going around bars, just performing magic to random people. Do that. Go out and perform magic to random people, strangers that you've never met, that you'll never meet again. Because I've said it on this channel before, and I'll say it again, there's no substitute for flight time. You do that for a couple of weeks with 3 new tricks, they'll be in your memory forever. Then you can do the same process again with another 3 tricks and another 3 tricks. That's personally what I would do. And I think that would probably make a big difference. Okay, so the next question is from MCK Magic, who says, "Hi Craig, what equipment is needed for a stage show? I see a lot of recommendations for headsets, but I'm unsure if you need the body back and an amp together to make it work. How does it all work?" Look, there's a couple of different options. If you get yourself a small speaker, and it very much depends on the audience size. So if you get yourself a small speaker, you might need a mixer desk as well, because what you need the ability to plug a receiver into the speaker. Now that's normally through an XLR port, and if the speaker that you've got doesn't have an XLR port, then you're probably going to have to get a little external mixer desk. However, if you get a really good speaker, it's going to have built-in XLR ports into it. So for example, I have a couple of mics. I have a Sennheiser head mic, and I also have a Shure head mic, both of which are really good, and both of which plug in, the receiver plugs into the XLR, and then obviously the head mic connects to the receiver. I always say that you want to get the best possible mic that you can, because the worst thing that can kill a show is audio problems. When you're performing on stage to a few hundred people, you don't want to be cutting out, because that's the easiest way to lose an audience. So I invested in the best audio equipment that I could get at the time, and I always keep updating it. But yeah, if you get a decent speaker like a Bose, it's going to have a built-in XLR. It's also, if you're going to be playing music, it's probably going to have a Bluetooth connector as well, so you can connect wirelessly from your iPad or your laptop or your iPhone or whatever to the speaker. And that's what I do. We take a Bose, we take an iPad that connects wirelessly to the speaker, and it's got 2 XLR ports, because in the show there's 2 male leads and 1 assistant, and that covers everything. Hope that helps. Okay, so the next trick is, or the next question, sorry, is from MIJRANHAGERI, okay, who says, if you could only perform one trick for the rest of your life, what would that trick be? It cannot be one of your own. Okay, so for kid shows, it would be Timmy Toilet Paper by Tom Bagone. For stage, it would be, I want to say Destination Box by John Allen, but it's my own routine for John Allen's Destination Box. So instead, I'm going to say No Brainer by Bill Abbott, or Cody's Comedy Book Test by Cody Fisher. And for close-up, I would say Roth's Coins Across, Roth's 3 coins across. Roth's Shell Coins Across, David Roth's Shell Coins Across, or the classic Card to Wallet. Yeah, the classic Card to Wallet. Or I'll give you one more, the Card to Pocket routine from Stars of Magic. Okay, is it Francis Carlyle? I think, I can't remember. But any one of those 3 would work for me in close-up, definitely. So there you go, guys. That's another Q&A in the bag. Thank you once again for joining me here on Magic TV. Don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again tomorrow with another video on Monday. I'm going to be back this evening with a review show special. And I'll be... yeah, if you want to join the Netrix, go to www.thenetrix.com. And for everybody who has watched any videos over the course of the week and has found them useful, I really appreciate it. Thanks very much. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.